Hi everybody, this is Bernice Fitzgibbon. She's a woman in her 60s. She's a mother of 3 and a grandmother of 6. She's a registered nurse and has been working in that field for 26 years. She's also a transformational coach. She does hypnotherapy and she's a passionate runner. And so I'd like to talk to her today about her story. So Bernice, how did you get started in all this?
Well, it goes back to my childhood. When I was at school, I was labelled as being dyslexic, so I had a learning disability, and that held a stigma to it, in the fact that I was kept back in classes, and I also was put into classes just one above the people that were intellectually handicapped. So of course that had the stigma, and so I just didn't feel very worthy about anything. And I can't remember what grade I was in, but one of the teachers seemed to see something in me that I didn't see, and he entered me in all the school sports, the running sports, and so I won them all, which was amazing. I thought that was really positive. And so I thought, wow, you know, I'm good at this. This is something I'm good at. And that's where it started from. It started from that. And so whilst I was at school, I represented the school in all the school sports and things like that, and managed to avoid getting expelled on several occasions, purely because of my sports abilities and nothing to do with my academic abilities. But yes, so yeah, and it made me feel good because, you know, that's where I got my self-esteem, because I certainly didn't get it in the academic field.
Yeah. Absolutely not. But you've obviously become a nurse, so...
That's correct, correct. So what happened was, of course, I stopped exercising. I ended up partying through my teenage years and got married and had 3 children, and all under the age of 21. And there I was, a young mother at home, and I got what now is called postnatal depression. But I got very, very depressed to the point where I couldn't even get out of bed, I couldn't get dressed, I didn't know. One day rolled into the other, and I just couldn't look after my children, and it was awful, really awful. And I happened to find a book by an author called Dr. Claire Weeks, and I read this and I followed the instructions, and it was very simple instructions, and I followed the instructions that she said to do, because nothing else was working. I couldn't take antidepressants because they didn't agree with me, and so I thought this was going to be my life. And within a very short time I was feeling a lot better, and it was at that time I remembered how good I felt about myself, because you must realise that again my self-esteem was 0. I remembered how good I felt when I was exercising, when I was running, and I did have a bit of extra weight on at that time after having a family, so I decided I would start running. It wasn't as simple as that, it was quite difficult actually, because I rushed out thinking, oh gee, I'm really good at sport, and I got out there and no, the wheels fell off. I just ran a couple of lampposts and gasped and stopped. So yeah, I had to gradually build up, but that's where it started. And as I got better and the more I ran, the more confident I got, and through that confidence I then went back to school, because I didn't have any qualifications. I went back to school and got what was then called your school cert in UE, and then went on and I applied for training college because I thought I'd teach home economics, because I was doing dressmaking at home for extra money. And that's why I thought I'd be able to do home economics, but I wasn't accepted, and so I went into nursing, because it was always teaching or nursing. And I got into nursing, and yes, but they were very good. They helped me through in the fact that they gave me extra tuition, and I had extra time to do the exams. But
you got through.
I got through.
That's really exciting.
And I had the confidence to get through, and that was basically due to the confidence I got from my exercise and from my sport. And
So just going back where we talked about when you first started to exercise, And he's this teenage runner that was fantastic, and then she's had her 3 kids and just runs out the door and discovers that a lamppost is a
long distance.
A long distance.
Yeah. Well, it was a fairly slow process of getting back into running.
Mm-hmm.
I started out on a walk-run program.
Yep.
And got myself sort of walk a lamp post, run a lamp post.
Yep.
Now it would be sort of run 2 or 3 minutes, walk 2 or 3 minutes, or run till you can breathe. Can't breathe and then walk
and stop.
and whatever. But before long, it was getting longer and longer. And I can remember when I ran my first 5 kilometres straight. It was amazing. I just thought, oh, you can't beat this. I'm just so cool. I felt so cool. And then it just progressed from there. I got involved in running, in the running club, and that was really, really good. Great friends in that. And yeah, changed my lifestyle around. My children they were active anyway, but we were a very active family, and I got them involved in sport, and they're very sporty, and my daughter's still into sport and exercise. But it's very important to look at the whole person. Like, I used exercise for my self-esteem. I mean, if people aren't that good at exercise, you know, they need to find some other ways to help themselves, or, you know, get that self-esteem, because that's important in anybody, is to have self-esteem. You don't do anything if you don't feel happy about yourself, so it has to start with you.
So it's important to find something that you're good at and that you like to do.
Yes, and I mean, we say, oh, I'm not good at anything, but everybody's got, you know, talents
something that they're good at.
That they're very good at, yeah, absolutely.
That's good. So that would be the advice to someone: find that something they're good at, make sure and
yes,
take it from
yes,
there.
and find something that you feel comfortable and confident in, and that you love to do. It's always about passion and what you want to do. And the other thing is to try and be grateful with what you've got and where you are at the moment, because through that then you can develop further. But if you're always looking at what you haven't got, then you'll continue to not have anything.
Yeah. So important to look at what you do have, be grateful for that, and work from there. All right. So what do you do now? So as a 60-year-old woman, so what do you do as a maintenance, like keeping healthy? You know, what do you eat? How do you?
The thing, my belief is everything in moderation and not excessive. I mean, I'm not always good at what I eat. I can eat.
That's good to hear.
Yes, no, I'm definitely not a saint in my eating. But, you know, I don't overeat on things that aren't good for you, but I still eat them. Same with exercise. When I was younger, I was fanatical, seriously fanatical. But nowadays, I try to have a little bit more balance around my exercise and my other side of life. So it is balance. Balance is extremely important in what you do. My nutrition, definitely try not to limit your processed stuff. I know processed is nice. If you've got issues, say weight issues, you're trying to lose some weight, and maybe you want to use running for it or anything, the 2 things that are important, I believe, is that you cut your portion sizes. Even if you keep eating what you're eating, you just cut your portion sizes, and then slowly start introducing foods that are better for you and decreasing foods that aren't. And as for exercise, or as for burning calories or you just got to get moving. Got to get moving. Doesn't matter what you do. Me, it was running, but it can be anything. Right. Absolutely anything.
So just move.
Just move.
Just move. And so how do you find staying positive? Like, what do you do to stay positive?
Run. Yeah, good. Run. I read a lot. Of motivational books.
Yeah.
I very much into quantum physics, into how your mind thinks, or how your mind operates, and how it can be your worst poison, or it can be your best friend, one or the other. It just depends how you use it. And I believe that too many of us don't realise that our thoughts create our reality, and those, or what we believe, has already been set in our minds before we're even aware of it. So before the age of 7, we get a lot of our beliefs from other people, and then our life we seem to search out, or our mind searches out for things to reinforce what we believe, and we have to be aware of that if we want to change. And then we have to look at what we do want and not what we don't want. So we're working towards what we do want and not focusing on what we don't want. But most of us, if you hear people's conversations, is, I don't like this, I don't want that, I wish this wasn't happening, and so on. Instead of that, you need to say what you do want and focus on that.
So when we're talking to a sort of a woman who's 50 or heading towards 60, and she's starting to say, oh, I definitely don't want that Alzheimer's, or I don't want that arthritis, or some of those things that we're fearing as we get older.
Oh, yeah. Fear is natural. I mean, things like that, and it's pushed in our faces all the time. All the advertisements are like that. I get sick and tired of seeing the one about funeral cover, and then get the phone call, from the insurance companies asking you about funeral cover, and you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, I'm focusing on living at the moment, thank you very much. Okay, so you need to look at things like that. But the thing is, again, sure, you see it in your community, and I mean it does exist, but why focus on it? Why look at it? Why not look at the things that you like to do? Don't you want to feel better? I mean, I certainly do. And by focusing on those things, does that make you feel better? No. You need to do things that serve you, that make you feel good. Why wouldn't you? Why would you deliberately go out and make yourself feel miserable?
The bad stuff. Yeah. So what would your best advice be for someone who's sort of turning 60 and
start to live your life? I mean, for goodness sake, you're in the best years of your life now. You haven't got, well, I'm saying you haven't got, but your family's left, you're coming up to retirement. You should have a lot of freedom on your hands. There's so much exciting new things that you can do. A whole new chapter in your life. I suggest you embrace it and really go out and look for the things that you're passionate about, that you really, really enjoy, and just get out there and live it, because that's what life's all about, and you only get one opportunity. There's no point in looking in the past or looking to the future, and because you live in the present. You're always in the moment, never in the past or in the future. So live for today.
That sounds really exciting, yes. So that the idea that 60 is really the beginning of our life.
Oh, absolutely. I think it is.
I can see that. Like, I always think, well, the first 30 years we just spent growing up, didn't we? Going to school and
absolutely.
The next 30, the next 30 we spent raising kids.
And sending them off to school and trying to keep them on the straight and narrow, and then they're gone, and it's like, what next?
What next?
But then you've got to
look at anything.
Absolutely, you can do whatever you want.
So there's new careers, there's
absolutely opportunities. I mean, people say, "Oh, I'm too old to learn." You've got to keep learning. You've got to keep that grey matter ticking over. What is it? Use it or you lose it.
Use it or lose it.
Yeah. And that all certainly goes for your thought process in your mind. So yes, you've got to get out there and you've got to make the most of the rest of your life.
We've got 30 more years or so.
I would say so, if you start taking care of yourself and really looking after yourself, because you're the most important person in your life. You've got to start with you. You can't try and change other people or do anything with other people. You've got to start with yourself. And by doing that, then you help other people. So, yeah, I believe that anyway.
Well, that's all really exciting. Is there any other things you'd like to say to the...
Oh, not really. I mean, I just want to instill in people that it's important, especially in my profession. I have people saying to me, oh, wait until you, it's all right for you, dear, wait until you get to my age. And I'm looking at their notes and they're younger than I am, and I'm thinking, for goodness sake, what is wrong with you? And the lists of pills that they're on is just amazing. And you know, it seems to be that people think that as you get older, age is disease, and it's not. It's lifestyle. It's the type of lifestyle that people live that's what's causing the disease process, not the aging.
Not the
So,
aging,
no.
yes. So you don't have to grow old just because your age is getting up there a
No,
bit.
no. Well, you don't have to have all those like obesity, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, all those things are lifestyle. Most of them are lifestyle
So they're not
related,
your
not
age,
age related. No,
The lifestyle. Well, let's hope we've inspired some people to...
I hope so.
All right. Thank you so much, Denise. I really appreciate you coming in and
Absolutely.
having a
Thank you
chat
for
with me.
having me.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.